Now, from Busch Stadium in St. Louis, it's the National League Central leading Cardinals up against the Mets on the Sunday Night Baseball Game of the Week.
The 1-2 pitch. We got a game.
It's the New York Mets versus the St. Louis Cardinals.
Despite the recent addition of Scott Rowland, runs and wins have been scarce. Slugger Albert Pujols leads the Cards with 84 RBIs and has keyed crucial wins with home runs in 2 of the last 3 games. The Cardinals still hold a slim lead in the Central.
Mike Piazza.
The Mets are desperately clinging to their wild card hopes, led by Mike Piazza and a rejuvenated Mo Vaughn. Tonight, they turn to ace right-hander Pedro Astacio.
Where we at? Busch Stadium, St. Louis.
I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan.
13 years of the Johnny and Joe show. Just to let you know the Hall of Fame flow. Get ready when you hear Miller and Morgan speak. It's the Sunday Night Baseball Game of the Week. The big game. Between the lines, the pastime. No quarters, no clocks, no halftime. We're going 9.
Unbelievable. The Mets, Cardinals, STL, St. Louis.
From St. Louis, Nextel presents ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. The Mets, with 11-game winner Pedro Astacio, take on the Cardinals and 17-year veteran Chuck Finley. The Mets and Cards. Finley up against Piazza when we come back on the Sunday Night Baseball Game of the Week.
Season as hosts of the Sunday Night Game of the Week, John Miller and Joe Morgan.
The New York Mets still with wild card aspirations. The St. Louis Cardinals atop the National League Central, the rubber match of a 3-game series. And we want to remind you now that you can log on to ESPN.com and play along with tonight's game with ESPN's new interactive baseball game. It's available live right now at ESPN.com. Let's take a look now at the Nextel batting order for the New York Mets. It will be Roger Cedeno in left and Timo Perez in center. Mike Piazza, the catcher, Mo Vaughn at first. Roberto Alomar hitting 5th at second. Ty Wigginton in place of the injured Alfonso at third. Joe McEwing in right. Ray Ordonez at short. And Astacio, the pitcher. Hello, everyone. I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan. Welcome to Sunday Night Baseball. And for the Cardinals, these are lean times. They've lost 8 of their last 10. You know about all the pitching problems, injuries, all kinds of terrible things have happened to that staff. But it's been the offense lately that has really been struggling, Joe.
Well, and that's true, John. Albert Pujols has been the only one that's been consistent. He's hitting over 300 with runners in scoring position, and so is Renteria. They've added Scott Rowland to this ball club. Rowland was the man in Philadelphia. They do not expect him to be the guy here. Albert Pujols is the guy, so all Rowland has to do is just get started a little bit and break that 6-for-41 slump that he's in.
Albert Pujols in left field. He'll be hitting cleanup tonight, and there's 15 years a big leaguer, 2-2 here with the Cardinals. However, he has lost decisions and really got lit up early. High, lazy fly to left field. Pujols with no trouble on this one. So 1 hit for the Mets. Now the Cardinals are coming up against Astacio, Vigna, Drew, and Edmonds when we come back. 0-1 the count. Oh, there's that splitter. 0-2. That was the one with the downer type movement.
John, I think I was just looking at his bat there, and it said for display purposes only. I'm not sure. There's that splitter we were talking about with the changeup motion.
0-2 to Astacio. And he goes after another one that's in the dirt for the strikeout.
And again, that's not the worst thing that could have happened. Obviously, you would like for him to put the ball in play, get a base hit, but the last thing you want him to do is hit into a double play. And he just decided, Finley decided, well, he swung at the last one like he didn't know what he was doing. Let's try it again. And this one is even worse, but he gets the job done.
Well, over the years, Finley has struck out a lot of better hitters than Pedro Astacio with that pitch.
Correct.
Now here is Cedeno. Roger with 30 RBIs for the year. Bases loaded, 2 down. Into the hole. Renteria to second in time to get Ordonez. Vigna covering. The Mets leave him loaded. Scott Rowland coming up, then Tino Martinez when we come back. So now Finley's up. So this is the same spot that the Mets had. Bases loaded, 1 out, but their pitcher up. And Finley, of course, has spent his entire career in the American League. He has rarely batted. He's showing bunt, but it was not the suicide squeeze.
And that's interesting. And that's what I was thinking when you were talking about Estacio. Try the safety squeeze. If he gets it in a good spot, you may be able to score the runner. If you do not and they force out the plate, maybe you stay out of the double play anyway. You're just, you're trying to do something. I think this is a good move to try to bunt. Make sure you do not bunt it back to the pitcher. That's the main thing. Yeah, see that?
Oh, Vaughn boots it. Everybody's safe and a run scores.
And that's why you do it. You just want to put the ball in play and force them to make a play. You just want to make sure you do not bunt it back to the pitcher. Not a difficult play. Mo just doesn't make the play. I mean, this is he's in. I don't know exactly why he missed it. He was there in plenty of time and didn't make the play. But this is a good play by Finley and a good play by the Cardinals. Just put the ball in play. It's kind of a safety squeeze. Force them to make a play. And you get the job done instead of just standing there striking out, as you suggested.
Here's Fernando Vina and a curveball for a strike. So now the Cardinals have a chance at a big inning here.
Well, that's a sacrifice, they're calling it, an RBI for Finley and an error, of course, on Mo Vaughn.
But it seems, it's clear to me that what happened was Mo, although he had plenty of time, tried to rush the play to get that lead runner at home.
Right. Well, you put the pressure on the defense. Anytime you put the ball in play, you force the defense to have to make a play.
Curveball in the dirt. Piazza knocks it down. 1 ball, 1 strike. Vina doubled his first time. Bases loaded, 1 out. The error by Mo Vaughn. Fernando Vina's mom, Olga Vina, is watching the telecast tonight in Sacramento, California. And Fernando asked us if we could remember him to his mom because yesterday was her birthday.
Exactly. And his son Jordan is also listening. But Mom's birthday was yesterday, so that's who will remember.
Felicidades, Señora Vina. Left field. Cedeno does not have a real strong arm. And Renteria scores easily. 2-0 Cardinals. So Vina produces, getting that runner home from third with less than 2 down.
Well, again, the ball is up, and Vina does a good job of getting it to the outfield, staying out of the double play situation, keeping the ball off the ground.
Now J.D. Drew. He struck out his first time. Tries the curve, stays too high. 1 ball, no strikes.
And, back to the bunt by Chuck Finley. The one thing if you're Tony La Russa and the Cardinals, the Mets make a lot of errors. So you want to make them have to make plays. And that's what happened there. You force them to make a play, and they can't make it.
That is foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, you had just mentioned that the Mets defensively had been lacking this year. It has really plagued them all season long. Their 101st error. And although they're saying that first run, they're giving him an RBI and whatnot, it was clear that Mo Vaughn was going to throw to the plate
and get the guy out.
And having done that, probably this inning would have been over right now with nobody scoring.
Correct. Because I'm a little surprised that they gave him an RBI on the play because Mo was already in, charged the ball. If he gets it, you're going to force the guy out at the plate easily. If you make the play.
Drew got hit by that pitch, although I think he maybe had hit off part of his shirt, not so much Drew himself. And now Charlie Huff, the Mets pitching coach, is going to go to the mound.
Well, remember, the ball doesn't have to hit your body. It doesn't look like it touches him there. But it doesn't have to hit your body. All it has to do is touch any part of your uniform.
There, he cut his cut the shirt dangling from his chest.
And that's all it has to do is touch any part of your uniform.
It's pretty good camera work, by the way.
Yeah,
so the bases are loaded again. Matheny, Finley, and Drew with Jim Edmonds coming up.
And the one thing that you do not want to do, although Jim Edmonds now has struck out 90 times on the season, you can't continue to put him up in these positions and expect to get him out all the time, because he is a good hitter.
Edmonds 1 hit, 8 at-bats lifetime against Astacio. 3 men on, 2 men out, 2 runs already in. Right center field, but there is McEwen. 2 runs though. When we come back, new Hall of Famer Ozzie Smith, the Wizard, will join us in the booth. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball from St. Louis. The Cardinals 2, the Mets nothing. Last of the 3rd inning. Here's the cleanup hitter, Albert Pujols, against Pedro Astacio. Into deep right center field. McEwen makes the catch and slams into the fence. Hangs on to it.
Nice play, Super Joe.
Looked like a changeup from Astacio, and Albert Pujols gave it a pretty long ride.
So one thing about Pujols, he has such a good foundation when he strides and when he approaches the ball that changeups, curveballs, nothing really bothers him. That ball toward the outside corner, and nice over-the-head catch by Joe McEwen.
I like as Scott Rowland stands in, he singled his first time, and that curve is high and tight for ball 1. I like Pujols. Says he, in his first at bat, he likes to see a few pitches, really to get a feel for the guy, what kind of movement he's got, how the different pitches he's going to feature. And he did that the first time, although he ended up striking out. This time he's right up there right away.
Yeah. Well, he's seen all the pitches, so now he just goes with his normal approach. The first at bat, you do not know how much movement the pitcher's going to have on his fastball, or how quickly it gets there, or how much movement he has on any other pitches. So that's why you like to watch him or see as many pitches as you can in the first at bat.
Sharp breaking ball down and away. Scott Rowland with a 2-ball 2-strike count. 2-0. The Cardinals out in front here. Rowland, I mean, when he gets it going, he can hit home runs. I mean, he's a 25-30 home run threat a year.
Well, I think the good thing here, John, is that he's surrounded, by players that they don't, they do not expect him to have to do it all, have to carry the load. In Philly, he was kind of the guy in the middle, although they had some good players there. Bobby Abreu, of course, drove in 100 runs, and Pat Burrell is going to do that. But it was still kind of Rowland's team. Here, he's just going to be one of the guys, because this is basically Pujols and Edmonds' team.
See, the average here for him has been 26 homers, 95 driven in. There's Renteria on deck. And the curveball fouled right back to the screen. Renteria is in the hole, by the way. That's Tino Martinez on deck. Renteria in the hole after Tino.
Tino. And Tino's like, Alomar. They're adjusting to the National League. Tino has played in the American League most of his, all of his career, and now he's in the National League. And there is a difference, although it's not as big a difference now as there used to be. Years ago, it was the American League was an off-speed pitchers league, all curveballs, and a high ball league. And the National League was more fastballs and sinkers. Now, they're pretty much mixed up. They're pretty close to the same, but there's still a difference in the American League approach.
And that will go back out of play again. 3-2 the count. Well, both Alomar and Mo Vaughn coming from the American League to the National League this year. Alomar saying that he still is facing guys that he'd never seen before. Yesterday, Luther Hackman started. Alomar said he'd never seen him before. Three and two to Rowland, having a battle here with Astacio. And the curve, and he just did get a piece of that. Still 3-2. Well, he's fought off some curveballs, fought off some tough fastballs on the outside. Rolen started that 2-run second inning rally with a single to left, although he did not score a run. He ended up being forced out. The outfield plays him over toward the right field line a bit. Let's see how they're playing it. The left fielder, Cedeno, way over to left center. 3-2. This will be the 10th pitch of the at bat. High and deep into left center. Cedeno back to the wall, and that's the first Cardinal home run for Scott Rolen. 3-0 St. Louis.
John, one thing that never changes in this game is the more pitches you see in any one at bat, the better chance you have of getting a base hit.
Well, they want Rolen to take a bow. And here he comes. His 18th overall this year, but his first as a Cardinal. And it was, in fact, the 10th pitch of that at bat.
And as Tony La Russa says, all he needs to do is relax. He needs Scott Rolen to relax, and everything will fall into place, and nothing will relax you like a home run.
Chino hits that one off Estacio. Vaughn can't get to it. It's into right field, and Chino's aboard with a base hit. They're going to come out and have a look now at Pedro Estacio.
Well, here's the pitch to Rolen. It looked like a little sinker, but he caught it before it got out of his range. Low pitch, and he hits it right out of the ballpark, left center field. And that's well over the left field wall. And he gets his curtain call.
Estacio under the watchful eye of Scott Lawrenson, the trainer, and Charlie Huff, the pitching coach. And Angel Hernandez, seeing if he's going to be able to continue. Meanwhile, here's an update from L.A. with Bill Pito.
Okay, John, we showed you Mark Grudzielanic's error leading to a run for Philly that put the Phillies up 2-1. But Grudzielanik atoning, bottom of the second, way back his 8th of the year. Ties the game at 2, and that's where we are right now in the bottom of the third from Los Angeles.
Phillies have had a hard time holding on to a lead in that series. 2-2, last of the third there. We'll keep you updated on the goings on at Dodger Stadium. Here, 3-0, the Cardinals ahead. Martinez at first, Renteria the hitter. Renteria fueled that 2-run second inning rally with a single.
Well, this ball hits him on, you can see it hits him on his right leg, but what you can't see is Mo Vaughn. He broke right toward first base. I guess he thought the ball was a ground ball up the middle, and he could not reverse his momentum and get back to the ball.
1 ball, 1 strike to Renteria. So Mo was going the wrong way to begin with.
Exactly. And he could not change and go backwards.
Chino, the former Yankee first baseman, alongside the current Mets first baseman. Ordonez to Alomar 1 over the first, not in time. Renteria runs well.
And but right there you could see that groin is bothering Roberto Alomar. He just tried to get rid of it and use his arm strength. He didn't step into it or anything. Again, he has a sore left leg, and that's the one you throw against when you make a throw. You throw against your body, your left side. Now watch he doesn't come across his left side. See right there how he stays back? And again, that's because he has a sore leg. Watch this. See, he doesn't come this way and throw against it. See, he's actually falling backwards. And again, that's and it brings up a good question, John.
There goes Renteria. Piazza's throw on 1 hop, not in time. So what's that question, Joe?
Well, the question is, when do you play if you're injured? Or how much do you play? As we see, Renteria had a great jump. Throw is low, but it's still not going to be in time. Piazza does not make a good throw, but I don't think he had a chance to get Renteria anyway. He had such a great jump.
So now they're walking Matheny intentionally with first base open, and the pitcher coming up. Renteria with his 16th steal of the year. He leads the Cardinals in that category.
And John, you know, back to Alomar, you know, playing, he doesn't have the range that he normally has. He's limited as far as hitting. And actually, I mean, do you actually play? But then I've heard, you know, guys saying, you know, 80% of Roberto Alomar may be better than 100% of somebody else I can put out there. So that's why you play.
That was only ball 3, by the way, to Matheny. Now it's ball 4. Or is it? Yeah, that's ball 4.
And baseball's a tough enough game to play when you're 100% healthy, and let alone when something's wrong with either your legs or your hands. You can't swing the bat if something's wrong with your hands, and you can't run if something's wrong with your legs. Those are the two most important part of your body for this game.
Chuck Finley, 2 for 7 as a hitter this year. Got credit for a sacrifice bunt with the bases loaded there in the second inning and an RBI. Now look where Mo is playing at first base, Joe. I mean, he's back behind the runner, playing deep at first. I mean, if Finley pushed down the same bunt he pushed down the last time, he'd beat it out, wouldn't he?
Correct.
Then Fernando Vini hits a 3-run double. Turns into a big inning.
Well, and that's correct. I'm a little surprised at the way the defense is playing him anyway. They are playing in at third. You see the third baseman's in, but Mo is way back over here.
At the knees for a strike. 2-1 to Chuck Finley. I mean, with 2 outs, you're supposed to be trying to drive in the runner from second, but he's the pitcher.
Not the pitcher, right? Pitcher, anything he can do to extend the inning is what he's supposed to do.
Finley had, it was almost comedic with the big difference coming to the National League as a pitcher. I mean, he has to bat, which he didn't have to do in the American League. He said he was at one of those hot, 98-degree days here in St. Louis, trying to conserve his strength between innings. He's in the dugout, and he says, "Thank God I have a chance to sit in the dugout." And they said, "Chuck, get it back." He says, "Again? I'm up again?" Yeah, every 2-3 innings, that's the way it works, Chuck. 2-2 the count. Edgar Renteria, runner at second, and that is Mike Matheny, who was walked intentionally over at first. Matheny had an infield hit his first time. Three-0, the Cardinals out in front. Alomar. And the inning is over. He had a curveball that time. Scott Rowland with his first home run as a member of the Cardinals. 3-0 St. Louis heading to the 4th. Timo Perez on deck. Ordonez at third. Breaking for the plate is Ordonez, and Rowland throws him out. The tag by Matheny.
Well, that's one of those plays where you go on contact, meaning when the ball is hit, it doesn't matter where it's hit, you're going. Now watch him. As soon as the ball's hit, he takes off. He doesn't care where it is, but it's grounded right to the third baseman. Easy throw to the plate, and Ordonez is out. If that ball is grounded to shortstop or any place else, he's probably going to beat it out, unless it's grounded back to the pitcher, of course. But you're going on contact, so you go right away when the ball is hit.
So now Cedeno at first base. Here is Timo Perez. He's flied out deep to left center and singled. There goes Cedeno.
Well, see, that was
fouled back and out of play.
And I was wanting to get in so I could say the first thing you do is throw to first base now, because you know he wants to steal the base after, he thinks you threw at him.
Well, Roger finally realizes he has to go back to first base.
Well, the one thing, and for all the kids out there, let the umpire tell you to go back. Don't go back just because the shortstop says go back, or the second baseman. I mean, I've seen it happen in the major leagues.
So Randy Marsh told him to go back, and finally he did.
Right.
0-1 to Perez. They'd like to get Perez out here. Mike Piazza up next. And then they'll take their chances. Down by 3. Get a couple of men on and see what happens. Piazza has a double tonight.
And, John, I know it's been difficult for all the Mets, but I think it's been very difficult for Mike Piazza. You know, he coming into this season, as you said, he thought he was going to have all this thunder around him. You know, Jeremy Bennett, Mo Vaughn, he thought, you know, Alomar, he thought all these guys were going to be there to take some of the burden of the offense off of his shoulders. And that has not happened. So I think it has to be very difficult for him to keep up his intensity day in and day out from the opening day to now.
Well, he said this time of year, the games mount up.
Right.
The wear and tear being a catcher. And in terms of working out, there is no working out. It's just trying to conserve as much strength and energy as he can for the next game. There goes Cedeno. And Finley throws out Perez. The inning is over. 1 hit, 1 left. Last half of the 5th inning. Scott Rowland coming up. He has a home run tonight. 3-0. Cardinals 3, Mets nothing. Top of the, or rather the last of the 5th inning. The Cardinals coming up with Scott Rowland. Only 2 for his last 32 coming into this game, but tonight he has hit a single to left, and he has also homered to left center. Curveball for a strike from Pedro Astacio. Rowland admitted that he was pressing a little bit when he first got over to the Cardinals after the trade. And he said, I suppose it was just natural, trying to do a little bit too hard to make it look like a good deal.
Well, he wants to impress his teammates first and foremost, so a lot of times you do try too hard.
So it's human nature.
Right. You want your teammates to have the respect.
Busch Stadium is now rocking and rolling. Scott Rowland, that is. 2-1 the count. And a pop-up off the fists. Mo Vaughn giving chase. Nope. Runs into the tarp, and the ball just back into the first row. 2-2 to Rowland. Well, Rowland, I mean, this is the kind of a guy, let's say he re-signs here, starts the year here next year with this group hitting around him, where he doesn't have to be the guy without the controversy and of the contract and all that stuff. I mean, he might blossom and do things that he never did in Philadelphia even.
Well, the one thing is, I mean, he's played so great defensively that, you know, he's going to earn his keep just defensively at third base.
Slider off the outside. 3-2. There's Walt Jocketty, the Cardinals senior vice president and general manager, who executed the trade to get Rowland over here. And of course, the Cardinals didn't get him here just for a couple of months. They want to sign him to a contract extension, keep him here. And that slider misses. A leadoff walk for Rowland. Meanwhile, an update. Here's Bill Pito.
All right, John, Curt Schilling, 19th win of the year, 7 innings and 8 strikeouts as Arizona beats Florida. Schilling the fastest of 19 wins since Randy Jones back in 1976. And Adrian Beltre, a sac fly, has the Dodgers in front of Philadelphia 3-2, playing the top of the 6th.
All right, Curt Schilling 19-4 and Randy Johnson 17-4. The Diamondbacks well in front in the National League West. Here's Tino Martinez rolling at first. And back to the bag he goes. Tino has hit into a force out, and he has also singled off the leg of Pedro Astacio. 3-0 Cardinals, last of the 5th. Tino without an RBI this month. Again, rolling back to the bag. I mean, the Cardinals as a team haven't done much this month. Their team average coming into play tonight in the month of August was .201. 0-1 to Tino. I asked Tony La Russa before the game. I said, any theories, explanation as to why the team has gone into this slump? And Tony basically said, hey, they happen. the guys are in a slump. Slumps happen in baseball. And he says it's a veteran team. Too many guys with track records. You know it's going to end at some point. And maybe tonight. Extra base hit for Tino. Stopping at third is Roland. A double for Tino Martinez.
One of the things that I've always admired about Tino Martinez is that he can keep the ball on the inside corner fair down the right field line. A lot of guys would hook this ball foul, but he's able to keep it fair without letting it hook. Watch this. Ball's inside. See that? And he's able to keep it fair. The ball doesn't hook. It just stays right there and goes down the line. Very few left-hand hitters can do that. And you see the ball hustle back in, and Tino's at second, Rollins at third with no one out.
Second and third, nobody out, and Edgar Renteria coming up. The Mets are going to play back at short and second up the middle, but pulled in at third and first. Astacio has constantly been in trouble tonight. Cardinals have had base runners in every inning. They put 12 men on base all told against him. 7 hits, 3 walks. He's hit a batter, plus there was an error. Bullpen activity now. Jamie Cerda, a left-hander, up in the Mets bullpen. The Cardinals already had 3-0, and here's Edgar Renteria, has been one of the top clutch hitters in the league this year. Going back is Perez, still going back, jumps up and makes the catch. Both runners tag up. Coming in to score is Roland. Tino over to third, and it is 4-0 Cardinals. Renteria knocks in the run.
And John, when you talk about a productive out, that's what we're talking about right there. Not only does he get the runner in from third, but he moves the runner from second over to third so he can score on a ground ball or a fly ball. He gets him to second, third with less than 2 outs. Nice play in center field by Perez. He catches it and he hustles the ball back in.
Well, the grass a little bit moist. It had a lot of rain here earlier today. Now the infield comes in for Mike Matheny. He has had an infield single, and he's been walked intentionally. Looking Martinez back to third was Astacio.
Well, that's because Matheny, they will squeeze with Matheny, and they were just trying to see if anything was going on.
Matheny, 8 hits in 12 lifetime at bats against Astacio. The infield in all the way around, and well, they're convinced that La Russa has the squeeze in mind.
Well, John, what you do here, if you're the Mets, you just throw 3 balls outside or 2, and then you end up walking the guy. You shouldn't be pitching to Matheny anyway. So what you're trying to do is catch the Cardinals in a squeeze situation. So what you do is you keep throwing out, pitching out. This should be another pitch out, and if it doesn't work, then you go ahead and walk him. Well, they're not doing that.
2-0.
See, that it doesn't make a lot of sense to me to pitch to Matheny, who's hit Astacio especially well when you have the pitcher on deck. Well, now they're going to walk him. I mean, I thought that they would just try to pitch out twice, trying to catch the Cardinals in a squeeze situation. But this is what you should do anyway. Just walk him and pitch to the pitcher. Be different if Astacio had a great record against a guy like Matheny, the 8th place hitter, but he doesn't, so there's no point in pitching to him anyway. You really do not gain anything.
Right in the first inning, Finley came up with the bases loaded and 1 out and laid down a bunt, not a suicide squeeze bunt, a safety squeeze bunt, and it ended up being an error by Mo Vaughn, and the run scored.
Well, if you're Tony La Russa, I'd do it again. I sacrifice. You don't squeeze. You sacrifice and move another runner in the scoring position and leave it up to Fernando Vena.
Tino Martinez at third, Mike Matheny at first.
Yeah,
there's the bunt,
and that's what you should do. I mean, once they walk Matheny, you go ahead and bunt him to second and leave it up to your leadoff hitter. Because again, the last thing we want is if you're the Cardinals, is for Finley to ground into a double play.
Now he's going to come over and chat with Jose Oquendo. This is Vina on deck.
Well, I think what he's going to tell him, John, to be honest with you, is bunt it to first base. Bunt it to that side of the field, not down the third base line. Because if you bunt it down the first base line, you have a chance. If you bunt it over here, you have a chance for this runner to score. But if you bunt it down here, he can't score because the third baseman is in close. So he bunt it to the first base. That's where he wanted him to do.
That's foul.
You want to give yourself a chance that if he makes a good bunt, a real good bunt, the runner from third can score. But if he doesn't make a good bunt, then the runner from first is going to go to second anyway. And the good point is, if you're bunting, the guy at third base allows the runner at third base to get a big lead because he's going to charge in from third, which allows the runner from third to move down the line as well. So if you make a good bunt on the right side, he can score.
0-2 the count.
He should be bunting again.
He squares. Did he bunt at it? No. An appeal was made to Larry Vanover, the third base umpire, but he said no bunt. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The Reds won today on that extra inning home run by Aaron Boone. At the moment, they're a game and a half back of the Cardinals in the Central. Finley pops the bunt.
Just let it drop.
It doesn't matter. Piazza is upset with himself for dropping it, but it didn't matter. It was strike 3.
Well, the problem is if you catch it, it allows the runner at first to maybe take a chance and take off if you want. If he wants to go. Because you're running, the catcher's running away from the play. So if the runner at first base wants to tag up and you catch it, it allows him to do that. See, now watch, Piazza's running away from the infield. Watch, he's got his back to the play and he's running away. Now, if the guy on first base wants to tag up, if he catches it, now what is he going to do about it? Nothing, because you don't want to make a long throw to second base with a runner at third base. So the smart thing to do would just be let it drop anyway.
You know, I wish he'd caught it. And if he'd caught it, I wish that Matheny had tagged up and gone. I mean, that's a play. I've only seen that play executed 1 time.
Well,
I mean, there's very little way to defend against.
There's no way
other than to let that guy go to second,
there's
right?
No way to defend against. Exactly.
I mean, if you throw from back near the backstop all the way to second, that runner at third is going to score.
Exactly. That's why, you know, I was saying he should let it drop, because there's no defense, because first of all, the pitcher's coming in, so you do not have a cutoff man. So your throw is going all the way to second base if you're trying to get Matheny. So that's a play that I've seen work a lot of times. I mean, we used to practice it when I played for the Reds. You'd practice that. If you know, if the ball's popped up and you're at first base, you take off all the time, make him throw.
Fernando Vina, first guy I ever heard talk about that kind of a play was the catcher, Ted Simmons.
Right.
Former Cardinal.
Well, he probably knows, what am I going to do if I catch it? He knows.
Go back to the screen runners. It's really kind of a first and third type play.
Definitely.
And you catch a foul ball back to the backstop
or any place where it's a long throw.
Yeah. You know who I saw do it? The runner who broke from first base was Joe Carter with Cleveland. And it worked. They got the run home from third. That's a strike now to Fernando Vina. 2-1. Jim Traber actually caught at the first baseman for Baltimore. Here's that pitch from K-zone. Right there in the corner.
Right on the inside corner.
2-1 the count. Deep down the right field line, but hooking foul. Vina, he got some McGuire muscles there. It's a big back. He didn't hit him foul. I mean, 1998, he never hit a foul ball home run, did he?
Probably not.
I mean, when he hit number 61 off the restaurant window out there, right down the line, and he kept it fair. He moved ahead of the Babe with a Ruthian home run. Then number 62 the next night. That was his shortest home run out of the 70.
You know what? I'm still amazed at what he said when Barry Bonds was chasing his record. He said he'll hit 72 or 73. That was his quote.
Vina down on strikes, and the Cardinals get just the 1 run. We're going to the 6th. The power's coming up. Piazza, Mo Vaughn, Roberto Alomar. The Mets are down 4-0. Mike Lieberthal having another pretty good game too. He had 3 home runs there last night. 4-0 the score here. The Cardinals leading the Mets. And there is 26-year-old right-hander Scott Strickland, acquired from the Montreal Expos right after the opening day of the season. Strickland, who had a very strong year for the Expos last year, was initially a setup man in front of Armando Benitez for the Mets, but they moved him back a little bit now. He bluffs toward third and looks toward first. He's got Drew at third, Edmonds at first, and Scott Rowland the hitter.
He was a closer for the Expos before he came to the Mets.
Or a sometime closer. He had 9 saves there last year.
Sometime. All of them are sometimes.
Fastball a little bit low. He throws hard, but he has the Mets have lost 16 games this year where the other team scored the winning run in its final at bat of the game. And Strickland has given up that winning run 7 times, 4 times on a home run. Rolling down the right field line. If it's fair, it's trouble. That ball is a fair ball. Drew scores. Edmonds being waved home, and he'll score. Rowland heading for third. Teeth. A triple for Scott Rowland, and he's having a big night. 6-0 St. Louis. Scott Rowland now a single, a triple, and a homer.
This is one of the things that makes Scott Rowland a good hitter, is that he can go the other way. And he's so strong, so he's late on this fastball and just kind of fights it off almost. But he's strong enough that when he hits it late like that, he drives it down the line and it stays fair. It doesn't really hook. It's right at the base of the wall, and he has a triple and 2 RBIs.
They're going to walk Tino Martinez intentionally with Rowland at third and 1 out. Tino's had a single and a double tonight. He has not had an RBI this month. Well, no wonder, Joe. Every time he gets a chance, they walk him intentionally. At least from what we've seen tonight. First and third, and Edgar Renteria is coming up. But you're walking a guy here who's not been driving in runs, and Renteria has been one of the best in these situations in the league this year.
Yeah, but the only thing they're looking for here is to set up a double play so they can get out of the inning with 1 ground ball.
So it's just a bad spot no matter which way you look at it.
It doesn't matter who was hitting, they'd have to do this.
In actual speed from start to finish, the triple. You saw Rowland when he got to second. It looked like he was picking up his third base coach. I had the feeling that he anticipated he'd be stopped at second base, and then he really turned it on when he got the go-ahead to head for third. 1-0 strikes to Renteria. He has singled and scored, hit into a force play, and had a sacrifice fly in a spot similar to this back in the 5th inning. Runner at third, less than 2 outs. Chuck Finley, the beneficiary of all of this offensive opulence, and the Cardinals have not had many games like this lately. Let's say in the last 10 games they've had no games like this. Renteria chased one that time. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
There's the hole in it. You can see a little slide piece away, and Renteria chases it.
Now, is he talking to a general manager?
I doubt it.
That offensive guy we were talking about, we don't need him. Sorry. 2-2 the count. Jocketty, I asked him, I says, are you going to make a trade? And Walt says, well, if I was, I wouldn't tell you.
That's pretty, well, it's honest.
And I said, well, you mean just me or any media people? He said, any media people.
Right. Oh, it wasn't personal.
That one hit high in the air to left field. Rowland's going to tag up. That one in kind of medium left. Cedeno. 1-2 bounces to the cutoff man, and not only does Rowland score, but Tino Martinez was over to second base. 7-0 St. Louis.
Pretty good pitch to hit, but you know you're going to hit it in the air. High breaking ball. Cedeno throws it into the ground. It doesn't even reach the infield. And it didn't get to the cutoff man, so that allowed Tino Martinez to tag up and go to second, as well as Scott Rowland being able to come in and score. And we're going to walk Matheny to get to Finley.
This is the third consecutive time that Matheny has been walked intentionally in this game. Now, I read this in the paper today, Joe. I'm not looking at the record book, but Barry Bonds was walked intentionally 3 times yesterday.
Which is a record.
And I read that that was a record, yeah. Or tied the record.
No, he passed, I think, Willie McCovey.
Well, no, he passed him for the season.
Intentional.
46 intentional walks for the year.
Yeah, he had 46. Bonds passed him with 3 intentional base hit balls.
But he tied the all-time record for a single game.
All-time record. Yeah.
And so too has Mike Matheny then. Tied the all-time record here with 3 intentional walks in a game. It's a record, Joe, and we were here for it.
Yeah, but a little different, though.
We'll be able to tell our kids.
I mean, if they had to, they could pitch to Matheny. They couldn't pitch to Bonds in those situations yesterday.
Well, plus, we were walking Bonds with Benito Santiago, an actual hitter coming up. He finally hit a grand slam the 3rd time they walked Bonds. Finley takes a fastball for a strike from Strickland. 3 runs are in. It is 7-0. The Cardinals leading. 6 of the runs tonight have been charged to Pedro Estacio. The first time all year that he has given up more than 4 runs in a game.
And 2 of those 4 were tainted as far as I'm concerned.
Shouldn't have happened.
Yeah, should not have happened.
6 runs, 5 earned officially, but really should have been 4 runs. Not that the official score got it wrong.
Well, I disagree with you. I think he did get it wrong.
Well, I think he got his call wrong in that inning. He called it an error on Mo, which was right.
Yeah.
But I think Mo was going to field it and go home and had plenty of time to get the out at home.
It was a force out at the plate. So if you're going to get him an error, then the run should not have been earned.
So I'm actually agreeing with you.
Thank you.
As you were disagreeing with me. And they get the out. Are you with me on that one?
I'm with you.
All right.
I'm with you.
Joe agrees with me. 7-0 Cardinals after 6. Scott Rowland having a big night in St. Louis. John Miller and Joe Morgan here with you from St. Louis. 7-0. The Cardinals leading the Mets here in the rubber match of this series. And here is Mark Guthrie, the veteran left-hander. He's having quite a year for New York. 1.66 ERA, 38 innings pitched, only 23 hits allowed. This guy's been around for a long time.
And he usually, I mean, his role is basically just get a left-hander out here and there.
Fernando Vina takes a curveball for a strike. One of his old teams, the Dodgers, has fallen back behind the Philadelphia Phillies 6-3 in the 8th inning in L.A. Fernando Vina's doubled, hit a sacrifice fly, flied out and struck out officially. 1 for 3. J.D. Drew on deck. Good spot for Guthrie to come in with 3 left-handed hitters in a row due up here. Vina, Drew, and Edmonds, the first 3 hitters in the Cardinal batting order. There's Drew. He hasn't had a hit tonight, but he's been hit twice. Got hit in the 6th inning. That started a 3-run rally. Edmonds in the hole. And Vina out of the reach of Wigginton. Base hit. Meanwhile, here's an update with Bill Pito.
All right, John, Giants and the Pirates, bottom of the 11th, all tied up. Ramon Martinez here for San Francisco. Game-winning base hit as the Giants win at 5-4. They trail L.A. by 1 game in the race for the wild card spot right now. Phillies and the Dodgers, speaking of Los Angeles, 3-3. Jimmy Rollins here in the 8th. He's gone 5 for 5. Drives in Tomas Perez. That makes it 4-3. It's now 6-3 Phils in the top of the 8th inning.
Jimmy Rollins.
How about that little flip? A little flip to left field.
Well, that's the way you figure him at his best.
Well, exactly. Well, that's what you want from a guy, not try to hit it too hard.
I mean, he's got some power, he's got some pop, but he's got incredible speed. And he's been slumping. Rollins hit about 160 in the month of July. So on a night with his old running mate, Scott Rowland, gets it going here with his new club, St. Louis, Jimmy Rollins gets it going for the Phillies after a long slump. J.D. Drew. Pass Mo Vaughn through that open hole. Vaughn was holding against the runner. Pena takes second. Drew gets his first hit. So the first two of these left-handed hitters has each had a base hit against the left-hander.
Well, as a left-handed hitter, you always try to pull the ball towards the hole. And just out of the reach of Mo Vaughn. And you see Pena had to let it go through, so he wasn't able to try to take third base.
Now D'Amico up in the Mets bullpen. Jeff D'Amico, right-hander, been in the starting rotation until recently. So now Guthrie in a jam here in the 7th inning. 2 men on, nobody out. It's Jim Edmonds, slider in the dirt. 1 ball and no strikes. Well, that Phillies score, the Phillies leading the Dodgers, relevant to the Mets, even though the Mets are in the East and the Dodgers are in the West, because at this point, with the Mets way out of it in the East, they're in the other division, the wild card division. Albert Pujols on deck, or he's not on deck. He gets way over close to home plate.
Well, he's taking his stance and watching the ball out of the pitcher's hand, as he will when he gets in the batter's box. Well, you see the pitch, and he reacts to the release.
I mean, he takes his stance over there.
I don't think I've ever seen anyone get that involved. You usually watch the pitcher, but he's getting ready just like Edmonds getting ready.
He's 25 feet away from the on-deck circle. The Cardinals bullpen is getting busy now, as both Pujols and Edmonds will get ready for the next pitch here from Guthrie. Steve Klein had gotten up. He'd been throwing for a while. The veteran Chuck Finley has gone 7 shutout innings tonight. Edmonds and Pujols await this next pitch. Well, it's tough enough to get Edmonds out. How about getting them both out at the same time?
That is difficult. Actually, the on-deck circles are there for a reason. You're supposed to be in the on-deck circle when you're waiting over here, and there's one on the Mets side as well. You're supposed to be there, but it's kind of like the coach's box. You're supposed to be in the coach's box, but if you look down at third base, we'll see that Jose Oquendo is way out of the third base box. So they usually do not make you adhere to that rule unless somebody complains.
In the dirt, it gets just past Piazza, and the runners will advance. A wild pitch, and now there are runners at second and third with nobody out.
Piazza tries to get his entire body in front of the ball. He just can't block it. One of the things I've seen a lot of lately is guys just reaching out there with one hand trying to catch it. But Piazza tried to get his entire body in front of it and block it, which is the way you're supposed to try to block the ball.
Well, I mean, he kept it from getting past him to the backstop. It was a pretty opportunistic running by the base runners. Ball just hopped right behind him by maybe 5 feet. 2-2 the count. Oh, man. Tough pitch, and Edmonds strikes out. 1 down, and now Albert Pujols will actually come to bat.
To the plate.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll hit, but he'll walk to the plate.
Baseball America, before last season, in their list of prospects, listed Albert Pujols as the Cardinals' second top prospect. Here's what they predicted for Albert before last year. Pujols will likely start 2001 in Double-A and could be in the big leagues in 2002, though the Cardinals try to temper expectations.
What are you trying to do? Keep people from buying that book?
No, no. They know that's in fact, the Cardinals themselves had decided that he was going back to the minors, even though he had a great spring. And Albert lines one into left center. That's going to be a base hit. Hits into the alleyway, rolls to the wall. Vigna scores. Drew scores. It's a 2-run double for Albert Pujols. They did pitch to him, and he does hurt him. It is 9-0 as Albert adds 2 more to his RBI collection.
Well, the fact that Scott Rowland has swung the bat so well tonight may have caused them to pitch to Pujols, because first base was open and they had a place to put him, and they probably wish they would have. Now walked him. That's a bullet in the left center field, right up the gap, and he drives in 2 runs.
So he's got 86 RBIs now, and now they're going to walk Rowland with the left-handed batting Tino Martinez up next. So Rowland has, or would have had, a shot for the cycle. He needs a double to hit for the cycle. This is sort of the Barry Bonds treatment.
Thank you.
With a 9-0 score.
You read my mind exactly.
Bonds was walked intentionally in Houston the final week of last season. He was sitting on 69 home runs. I think the score was 8-1. The Giants were leading when Bonds was walked intentionally.
There comes a point in the ball game where the theory is you just do not want to put any more runners on base, so you can't, catch up.
Bonds walked 130 times this year. They keep tabs of that here in this ballpark. He walked 4 more times today, by the way. And his walk in the 11th inning started the winning rally for the Giants against Pittsburgh. The standings in the Central, they also keep track of that here. The Cardinals ahead of Houston and Cincinnati by 2 each at the start of the day. Houston lost to Atlanta. Cincinnati won over San Diego. Here's Tino Martinez. He has not had an RBI in the month of August. St. Louis tonight has hit 3 sacrifice flies. They've had a sacrifice bunt to drive in a run, and they've received 5 intentional walks in this game. I'm trying to start the "Let's Go Tino" cheer here, similar to the Yankee cheer. Let's go Yankees. 1 ball, 1 strike. There's a Yankee fan in attendance tonight. We miss you in New York. I mean, he had a lot of fans. Tino had some very good years there, replacing Don Mattingly, who was an incredible favorite.
Excellent years, but I don't know where he would play there at Giambi at first base.
2-1. Fastball. He had to jump out of the way. Cardinals were averaging 2.5 runs per game the last 10 days, hitting .208 in that time. Tonight, 12 for 28, a .429 average. They've got 9 runs on the board and counting. Slider low. 3-1.
Actually, when the Cardinals brought Tino to St. Louis, I thought it was a perfect place for him, and I still do. I think this is a good spot for Tino.
3-1 to Tino, who holds the second. Rowland at first. They walk Rowland intentionally to set up this matchup. Popped it up foul, and back out of play. Tino Martinez, one of the reasons he was so popular in New York is he had some real big hits in postseason play in those playoffs and World Series, including that dramatic home run against Byung-Hyun Kim in Game 4 of the World Series last year when the Yankees looked all but out of it. Runners going. The ball is swung on and missed. Now they've got Pujols in a rundown. And Pujols is tagged out by Wigginton. So a strikeout into a double play. Now to the 8th inning. Cedeno, Perez, and Mike Piazza due up. It is 9-0. The Mets are trailing. Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN. Yes. Thank you very much. And the Cardinals all over the Mets, leading 9-0. Going to the top of the 8th inning, and there is Steve Kline on to pitch now. Left-hander. And he's been struggling a bit lately. And he really sort of lost it the other night here in the dugout after an inning where things didn't go well. He throws ball 1 to Roger Cedeno. He's on a relief of Finley. 7 shutout innings, only 5 hits allowed, 2 walks. Finley threw 102 pitches. Roger Cedeno 0 for 3. Takes a strike. 1-1. Well, Albert Pujols, there was a sort of a lingering question as to why was he running with 1 out and a 3-2 count.
9-0.
So we think we have the answer for you, so stay tuned. We'll show that to you. We could tell you, but this is television. This is a visual medium. That's a ball outside. So in TV talk, I'm teasing the video that's still to come that will show why Albert Pujols was running, even though it was 1 out, not 2 outs. Right?
Right.
Okay.
First and second. 1 out.
1 out. Ahead 9-0. Not a running situation.
Exactly.
3-2 the count to Roger Cedeno. Rolling on the run. What an arm. 2 down. Well, here it is. Let's watch the play and then listen for Albert, who's wearing a microphone tonight. So he ran the runner at first, however. Roland did not. Then the rundown. And here's what he said.
My bad. I thought it was 2 out.
My bad.
That's becoming an increasingly in vogue thing to say, right?
Yeah, my bad.
Not, I'm sorry, it was my mistake, but rather, my bad.
Yeah.
Timo Perez, 1 for 3.
Hey, Placido Polanco wouldn't have said that.
Well, he wouldn't have gone.
Right. Thank you.
My bad. He thought it was 2 outs. And the Mets who could use some relief at this point are thankful that he did. 2-1 the count. Bobby Valentine, his Mets have just not been able to really get something substantive going.
And we're laughing at that play, but if the score was 2-2, it wouldn't have been very funny. And if Pujols would have run from second base on that play.
2-2 the count. I think his comment would have been something different than my bad.
Right. How much do I owe you? Probably would have been the point.
Coming up now after the ball game, Sports Center with Rich Eisen and Stuart Scott. The complete day around Major League Baseball. Kurt Schilling going for his 19th in the desert. The Sunday conversation with Keyshawn Johnson. And Ray Lewis will host. He will host the plays of the week coming up next on Sports Center. Stay tuned. Mike Piazza, the hitter. 2 down and nobody on. Well, those people they've got it pegged, Joe. The countdown to 25. Is it 25,000?
25,000 shows.
Wow.
Yeah. Soon.
And you've seen them all.
I've seen a few.
24,954.
Does this 4 belong up there someplace?
Yeah. They're trying to get in the shot. Somebody told them to squeeze together. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Piazza. He's doubled, grounded to short, and struck out. 9-0. Piazza and the Mets taking it on the chin tonight in St. Louis. Piazza recently hit a home run that tied him with Johnny Bench for second on the all-time list of home runs by catchers. This one stays in the yard, a single out to Albert Pujols in left center. So Piazza, a 2-hit night.
Carlton Fisk has the most home runs by a catcher.
Fisk at 351. That's the all-time record. Johnny Bench and Mike Piazza 327 apiece.
Fastball in, he actually jams himself and breaks the bat, and the bat helps him to get a base hit, because if he hit a little better would have carried all the way to the outfielder. But watch, when the bat breaks, he gets just enough on it to get it to the outfield for a base hit.
Mo Vaughn and the appeal on a check swing denied by Larry Vanover, the third base umpire. So it's ball 1 to Mo. Mo tonight is hitless. He's flied out to shallow left, struck out looking, and lined out to left center.
Not your typical Sunday night baseball game for Mo Vaughn.
And usually Mo is the best of hitters on Sunday night baseball. 19 homers for the year. Most of those, 15 of them in the last 47 games.
I picked up his bat today. He uses 36-inch, 36 ounces.
Wow.
Which is very unusual in today's game, because most guys use 31 or 32 ounce bats.
Look at that breaking ball in there. Strike 2. Steve Klein trying to get himself back on target. And that slider misses down and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 9-0. The Cardinals out in front. Last of the 8th. Scott Rowland a big night, a single, triple, and a homer. Albert Pujols a 2-run double. Tino Martinez a single and a double, and a walk.
If Steve Klein didn't have a glove on his right hand, you'd still know he was a left-hander. He looks like a left-hander.
And strike 3. A left-hander with a great slider. And a bad hat. 9-0. Cardinals over the Mets. Last of the 8th. Thanks, Stuart. And we look forward to Sports Center number 24,000. What do they say? 954. Closing in on 25,000 Sports Centers. There's Kevin Joseph, the right-hander, called up from AAA ball on August the 1st. He was 1-1 with a 1.99 ERA at Memphis this year. Opened the year on the disabled list until June the 10th, or not right at the beginning of the year, but early April, and then on the disabled list. Here is Marco Scutaro to lead off against him. Gets pretty good movement on that sinker, and the count is 0-1. They got Kevin Joseph and another guy named Matt Duff. A couple of rookies in that bullpen, plus Mike Crudale, who's been here most of the year and has done a great job. It's been a year of opportunity for young pitchers in the Cardinal farm system. Guys like Jason Simon-Tachi, although he has run into a few bumps in the road here lately. Travis Smith was in that rotation for a while. Now has been sent back to the minor leagues. There's Simon-Tachi, former Olympic star for the Italian Olympic team. Final score from Dodger Stadium: the Phillies beat the Dodgers 6-3. Jimmy Rollins 5 for 5 for the Phillies. So maybe he's ready for a big finish. Exciting player. He's one of my favorite players.
He is, and a very exciting player.
Strike 3, a slider on the outside. Scutaro caught looking. Big night for Scott Rowland. His coming out party at long last here in St. Louis. Rowland with a single to left in the second inning, and then into the bullpen. His first home run as a Cardinal in the third, and then a triple in the sixth inning. And he's also been excellent afield, which he had been all the way through. And threw a base hit into center for Ty Wigginton. One-out single for Wigginton, his first hit of the game. Scott Rowland admitted that he was pressing when he first got over here. Although I like your spin on it, which, I mean, number one, you're trying to impress your new teammates.
Correct. That's the most important thing, I think, for you, is to impress your teammates.
But tonight, maybe he got a big burden off his back. A big night with the bat and with the glove. Cardinals winning in a blowout. I mean, they won their very first game after he came over. He had a couple of hits. And then they lost 7 in a row. Scott Rowland went into a slump, and the whole team went with it. Everybody was in a slump. Joe McEwing, as the runner goes, McEwing hits a foul past third. Scott Rowland grew up in Indiana. He told us about his memories of going to games here at Busch Stadium with his family as a youth.
It was our family vacation, our once-a-year family vacation most of the time. We'd go, you know, we'd get some seats. Normally we're in the upper deck, and we couldn't see the right fielder from what I remember. And but Ozzie Smith was out there, and Willie McGee was out there, and you know, Tommy Herr in those days. So yeah, I have some great memories from that ballpark. I remember it being hot too.
Runner going again. The ball is taken low for a ball. 2-1.
And the reason it was hot there, they had AstroTurf, and that AstroTurf field would, you know, would get hotter than the natural surface now.
Used to come and see Ozzie Smith. And
Willie McGee was one of those players.
Willie McGee, who was one of the top players in those Cardinal clubs in the 80s. Vince Coleman, I imagine he watched a few times. A dribbler foul off to the left. 2-2 now to McEwing. No steal, by the way, for Wigginton because of the indifference of the Cardinals. Now the rule on the stealing, this is the situation that it was written for. You know, in a blowout game, the other team doesn't care if you go ahead.
But they've used it at their discretion, which I don't like.
I don't think that's right.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Vania throws out McEwing as Wigginton goes to third. I mean, there are times where a team will not defend against a steal, but it's still a tight ball game.
Exactly.
And there's a tactical reason for taking that extra base, and the guy should get the steal there without question.
Well, I definitely believe that it's only games like this where there is a blowout, where no one really cares whether you steal the base or not. But
did you ever steal one and they didn't give you credit for it?
Several times. And I was irritated because it wasn't like this. It was 4-0 or something in that area. They just didn't try after me because they didn't figure they could get me, but it was 4-0. That's not, you know, way out of line.
Ray Ordonez, who's had a walk, a double, and a single. Joe, who had 667 steals in 1975 and 60 the next year. And Renteria throws out Ordonez, and the Cardinals win this series over the Mets. Chuck Finley with a magnificent 7-inning performance. Big night for Scott Rowland. The Cardinals maintain a 2-game lead over the Reds in the Central. Next Sunday, we're going to go to the Metrodome and check in on the red-hot Minnesota Twins up against the Boston Red Sox. We'll see you then. 9-0 Cardinals. SportsCenter is next. I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan. Good night.